Yeah, we're going to be talking about George Santos' clips in a second. Don't worry. He's fucking popped off. But before I do that, let me watch my favorite bald, who I've asked to play video games with, who does not respond to my Twitter messages.
But like I'm not saying we should bully them, but I do think if you are a normal person, you have an obligation to, when you see someone that's building like middleware for Uber Eats that like connects you with the driver 2 clock cycles faster, and also as a result you get paid $10 million a year and the driver gets 10 cents, you have an obligation to like make fun of them a little bit, whether they hear it or not, because somehow the ego got too big. I don't know how it happened. Like, why are there venture capitalists with egos? You didn't do anything. The capital did everything. It doesn't make...
It's kind of fucked up. You better watch it.
Make any sense. Like, you literally, that's the point. You looked at an idea and said, that idea is pretty good, here's some money, and then the founder of the company that you invested in did the stuff, and also the people that worked there. But you shouldn't have an ego. You should be on your knees like, thank you, thank you. But like, we need...
Be careful, Hasanabi.
Every genre, it might have been made in, it's made in evolution, apparently. You can go third person or first person. I just don't know. Give me Super Mario RPG, man.
What is he looking at? I don't even understand. I mean, I've DM'd him a bunch of times on Twitter. He does not respond to me, so I just DM'd him on Discord, and I say, can we please play games soon, or do I need to have Justin Trudeau on for you to come on my stream and collab? It's a guess that game kind of deal.
Type one letter and then just pick a game.
The reason why I love Northern Lion is because, well, one, age appropriate. There's no inappropriate age gap there, okay, in collaborations. Hey, Majority Report, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Okay. That's number one. Number two, the reason why I like Northern Lion is because, like, he basically will just like sit there and do Sudoku. You know what I mean? Like, he's like an old man opening up the fucking newspaper, whatever the Canadian newspaper is. I don't know, like the Daily Pardon or whatever. Okay. What the fuck do they have? Do they have newspapers there? The Daily Gazette? Yeah. And then they just like, he opens it up and he plays Sudoku, but on stream. Like, all of the games he plays, I feel like are so boomer coded.
Excuse me? It was 7 Days to Die, and I got it by typing A into the search bar and clicking a game randomly.
That's right there. This right there is why he's not collaborating. Disrespect to our culture. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Anyway. Did you see Trump's reaction to the debate last night? Oh, don't worry. We're fucking doing that. We're doing that right now. We're going to get to that in a second. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to do more collabs and stuff. More gaming, more collabs. I got to bring back variety, or else my brain is going to I'm going to lose my mind. My brain is becoming poop. This regular guy went from this to this by listening to the netizens' opinions.
By listening to netizens' opinions. He's 小爱同学 on 小红书. In December 2021, he posted a photo with the caption, I can't find a girlfriend. What do you think is my problem? 2 years later, he looks like this, is engaged and tripled his income. Even viral as the man who always listens to advice. Under his first post, he said he's born in 1996, 170 cm tall, makes less than $500 a month, has no house, and drives a second-hand car. A netizen said, your only advantage is your character. You can calmly accept others' opinions. Someone told him to change his hair. He immediately styled it sideways. Netizen said, you instantly look 10 years younger. Went from looking like a civil servant.
Bro, even China's got their lolcow in the opposite direction. Like, if we did this in America, they would drive the person into suicide immediately. In fucking China, the comments are like positive and telling them to do cool things and then like fixing a dude's life up. What the hell is happening, man?
Servant to a real estate agent. Netizens told him to lose weight. He said on it. He lost 5 kg in 3 weeks. But netizens said now he looks like a gangster. So he put on contact lenses and a beanie to look friendlier. Netizen told him to focus on outfit coordination. He sold his DJI drone and used that money to buy new clothes. He said, you make suggestions, I'll implement them.
Wait, what? Netizens told him
to focus on outfit coordination. He sold his DJI drone and used that
he sold his DJI drone to be a fuckboy. What
money
the hell?
to buy new clothes. He said, you make suggestions, I'll implement them. The first outfit got the most votes and that became his new skin. He carefully marked which netizen gave him the advice for every change he made. He got the K-pop boy group haircut and bought a new iPhone to take better photos. Netizens said this is like a real-life idol development show. Many female netizens commented, if you can recognize your problem and are willing to listen, you're already better than 99% of men. The funny thing is, Xiao Ai is about to get married, but many who gave him advice are still single.
That's a funny ass way to end that. Yo. That's crazy. Rip the commenters. Surely that's an isolated case. I want to look at his abs. Oh my god. He just
Style is sideways. Netizens
my man fucking listened to comments and actually had a positive impact on his life. That's unheard of. That has never happened in the history of the internet. What is this? Daily reminder that you're an insanely hardworking person who puts his best foot forward for the betterment of everyone, and your commentary is important. You've done such an awesome job covering devastating news the last 2 months, and I commend your dedication. Thanks for being such a good source for us. Thank you for your kind words. I will continue doing what I'm doing. Anyway, okay. Let's close some of these fucking tabs, dude. Oh, update on the North Texas groom. North Texas groom in the $59 million viral wedding of the century is accused of shooting at the police. Jacob Legrone and Madeline Brockway wed in lavish nuptials in Paris this month, but the new groom could face life in prison. Turns out, attacking a public servant was actually just straight up shooting at cops. I don't think so. While attending a motion hearing Thursday in Fort Worth, Legrone avoided reporters with the help of a bodyguard who pushed away a television camera, led his client behind closed doors. His new wife, Madeline Brockway, was not in attendance. The newlyweds' nuptials in Paris this month were dubbed the wedding of the century on social media. What is happening in this fucking story? Ain't this guy Hasanabi head? Shut up. Don't say that. The bride's father, Bob Brockway, owns a group of Mercedes-Benz dealerships in Florida, but lives in the Fort Worth area. Wedding registry was very expensive. We know that already. Here's a photo from the wedding. Or a video from the wedding. God damn, that's loud. Following the wedding, the couple reportedly settled in the Fort Worth area. It is not known whether they plan to remain in North Texas or are here for Legrone's legal battles. The unusual saga began in March when 3 Westworth village officers responded to a home after receiving multiple disturbance calls, the city said. When they arrived, officers were fired upon and Legrone was arrested. He was later released on a $20,000 bond and indicted in August. How? Wait, okay. Here's what I don't understand. Like, what is happening with the American criminal justice system? Like, one guy shoots in the direction of cops and then is arrested and then released on a $20,000 bond, able to leave the country and have a $59 million wedding. Other people get shot for having a butter knife on them. Like, what's going on here? I don't even think this is white privilege at this point. There's got to be some sussy ass shit going on. It's Texas. Maybe he didn't know it was cops or something. Maybe it was a misfire in the house or something. Because there's no way they let him go. Like, we're talking about Dallas, Fort Worth, guys. This isn't like some bumfuck Idaho suburb where, like, the cop knows every single person individually. You know what I mean? This is not some, like, fucking rural-ass town. You got, like, the actual Dallas Police Department. Don't say, bro, it's Texas. Some of you guys literally don't understand. Some of you guys don't understand that, like, Dallas, Texas is very different than, I don't know, where King of the Hill was shot. Like, I don't think the Dallas Police Department is just, like, letting you go if you shoot in the vicinity of the cops. Unless there's, like, additional details that we are unfamiliar with. Like, that's not a thing. Law tip. This man is innocent. Set him loose, Your Honor. This country was founded on shooting at law enforcement. Also, real big law tip. A part of this is his race. Obviously, black dudes shoot the cops and it's absolutely over, plus death penalty, probably depending on the state. Yeah, no, I'm just saying that even white guys don't. Even white guys can't get away with like actually shooting at cops and then have it show on their record as like disorderly misconduct against a public servant. Born in DFW, anywhere in the Metroplex, you ain't gonna get away with shooting at a cop. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think you can. If cops roll up to your house and you actually shoot at them, your survival chances are very low. That's number one, no matter where you are in the country. But also on top of that, the fact that you were able to travel internationally beyond that, like, nobody's got that juice, man. That's crazy. We're not talking about a DUI, you know what I mean? We're talking about like shooting at cops. There's something off about the story is what I'm saying. Like, unless he is literally a police officer, okay? Unless he is a straight up police officer who's off duty and was drunk and like other cops came to his house and he accidentally fucking fired in their vicinity, you're not getting this light of a sentence, I feel like. There's just something else that's happening, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on there. That's all I'm saying. Like, no, giving money to the police union will not help you. Giving money to the Hasanabi union in the form of a gifted sub, though, on the other hand, will allow people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Okay? If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that on your own for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Free? Why are you covering breaking news? Yeah, the breaking news that is heating up the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Here's the Thurman ad right now. This is literally billionaire white shit. They never get convicted. I don't think there's more to this, honestly. I don't even understand why his father-in-law is so rich. Like, a lot of this story just doesn't make sense. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about it. In the meantime, speaking of finding out more about things, we have no idea what has happened to this baby. What has happened to this baby? Do we know what happened to this baby? George Santos just left Tim Burchett's office with a baby in his arms. When asked if it was his baby, he said, not yet. So, anyway, that's George Santos. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, you know, I guess that's what Congress gives you when you leave. The weird part about that is that, like, I assume when I see a congressperson with a baby, I assume it's an adrenochrome baby, right? But like when the baby is still alive, it's much harder to extract the adrenochrome. So I don't know why he got the adrenochrome baby before instead of just like going to Planned Parenthood and purchasing it. Mom, it's a joke. I'm being sarcastic. Why are you listening to my stream? Put your headphones in, please. Goes, what are you talking about? What are these things? Oh my God. Anyway. The Macy's, thank you for the playlist. All right, we'll start off with George Jebediah Santos, and then we'll move on to Israel. Palestine, of course, we're going to be covering that as well today because the 6-day truce is over and the relentless bombing campaign has started. Judging by some of the initial devastation I've seen thus far, it does seem to me like the second part of the ethnic cleansing campaign is supposed to be more quote-unquote restrained, but we'll see how it goes. But let's do...
This is an ABC News special report.
Good morning, I'm Terry Morana. We are coming on the air for a historic moment unfolding on Capitol Hill. New York Republican Congressman
Yeah, we're going to be
George
watching
Santos
the Jabri vid, too.
has just been expelled from Congress. He is only the 6th person in American history to be voted out of the House of Representatives. The results of the bipartisan vote really weren't that close. A 2/3 majority of the members present was needed, so the House is now made up of 221 Republicans and 213 Democrats. The final vote, 311 voting to expel Santos, 114 voting against it, and 2 members voting present. This vote narrows the already small majority held by Republicans in the House of Representatives. Prior to the vote, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson told Republican members to vote their conscience, saying he himself would not be voting to expel George Santos. But many Republicans, especially the New York delegation, decided they have had enough. Santos, who was inside the House chamber at the time of the vote, he's been a lightning rod for controversy since before he was even sworn into office. His ousting follows the release of a blistering report from the House Ethics Committee, which accused him of stealing money from his campaign for personal use, including paying for rent, for designer clothes, for Botox, and even for an adult website.
I mean, queen shit. King
We are
shit.
going to go now to
You know
the
what I
floor.
mean? It's just like that's what you're supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? Fucking spend it on what? Like lame ass bullshit, like trying to get reelected? I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. What is there, a law in the books that tells me I can't have fun with my with my campaign contributions? I'm sorry. Oh wait, you're telling me there are laws against it? Hold on. That's yeah, I I took the be gay, do crime mantra quite literally.
The ethics panel spent months interviewing 40 witnesses, pouring over 172,000 pages
This country
of documents to reach
sucks.
that conclusion. Santos has also been indicted by a federal grand jury. He's pled not guilty to 23 federal counts, including fraud and identity theft. Throughout it all, he has been defiant, insisting that he would force this vote. Now he's lost it. So let's get right to ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. Rachel, this is a historical moment. George Santos, the first person expelled from Congress who was not either a traitor to the country. Three were Confederates who had been expelled previously or been convicted of crimes. He's been convicted of nothing, but the House decided he had enough.
Terry, we just watched history unfold in the House today. Congressman George Santos has officially been expelled from Congress, making him the sixth member of the House of Representatives to be forced out, the very first Republican member of the House to be forced out of Congress. This momentum has been growing for months, and this could not have happened today without the support of Republicans. In the end, you had more than 100 Republicans say that they support this push to expel Congressman George Santos from the House. From the moment that he walked through the doors here on Capitol Hill, he has been defiant. He's been accused of lying about his professional resume and his background. Then he pleaded not guilty to those 23 federal charges, including identity theft, unemployment fraud, and wire fraud. But it really was this latest report from the House Ethics Committee, which was blistering, accusing him of blatantly stealing from his campaign, using that money to fund trips to Atlantic City, even on Botox designer goods, that really caused this momentum to start to grow. This push from
I'm sorry. I love how gay his crimes are. Like, it's awesome. Like that other guy who like was also criminally charged. What was his name? Fuck. The one who I think he was in California. The representative from California who like had his son buy a bunch of V-Bucks too, and also he was like buying vapes and shit. What was his name? Like that was very bro-y, right? Taking campaign contributions. Duncan Hunter, yes, Duncan Hunter taking campaign contributions and then like spending it on. What did he use it on? Not to be confused with Duncan Hunter Senior, by the way. This is Duncan Hunter Jr. He was sentenced to 11 months in prison, scheduled to begin in January 2021, but then he was pardoned by President Donald Trump. And his crime was taking campaign contributions. In February 2017, Hunter's campaign offices were raided by the FBI as a part of the criminal investigation. Agencies, computers, other electronics, financial reports. They also seized a hard drive from the election CFO, an Alexandria, Virginia-based company that handled campaign finances on Hunter's behalf. The raid was not reported to the media until August 2017 after court documents intended to be filed under seal were accidentally released to the public. On March 2017, House Ethics Committee revealed that Hunter was under a Department of Justice criminal investigation for campaign finance violations and that it was deferring its own investigation as a result. The Office of Congressional Ethics report stated Representative Hunter may have converted tens of thousands of dollars of campaign funds from his congressional campaign committee, listen to this, for personal use to pay for family travel, flights, utilities, health care, school uniforms, and tuition, jewelry, groceries, and other goods, services, and expenses. Some of those goods, services, and expenses included vapes and also video games, if I'm remembering correctly, which was awesome. Hunter said that he repaid the money to the campaign and denied wrongdoing. He also announced that his wife would no longer receive a $3,000 per month salary for consulting with the campaign. Yeah, he bought Steam games, yeah. Now, of course, that was Duncan Hunter, who was pardoned and did not serve his prison sentence. He was supposed to go to jail for almost a year, 11 months. He got out. Okay. In a statement issued through his lawyers, Hunter said that he repaid his campaign approximately $60,000. Hunter returned from international travel in order to address the issues around his campaign funds, promising to correct any inappropriate or mistaken charges. Meanwhile, the indictment also alleged that Hunter spent campaign money on personal relationships with 5 women in Washington, D.C. Anyway, this is a different Hunter, not Hunter Biden. So Republicans didn't give a shit about that. But George Santos, on the other hand, was a slay queen.
Republicans to say he needs to be forced out. And so now here you have it. Here we are. They expressed some concerns about the precedent that this would set. That's why you saw every single member of House leadership, including the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, reject this push to expel Congressman George Santos. But this is effective immediately. As of right now, Congressman George Santos is no longer a member of Congress, Terry.
It really is a remarkable moment and a precedent, as you say. But for practical purposes now, the House Republican majority has been narrowed in the House of Representatives, already very slim. It's now 221 to 213. What happens next now that the 3rd district, a congressional district of New York, doesn't have a member of Congress? What happens next?
Yes, and Terry, Republicans were worried about losing a lot of their majority here, too. They went from a 4-seat edge now to a 3-seat edge. That is going to make things more complicated with pushing through their own priorities in the House chamber. And so, as I mentioned, this is now effective.
There are so many aspects of this that's hilarious, all the way from the fact that the Democratic Party was so goddamn confident in their districts in New York and so reactionary in their messaging that they lost an important seat in a district that is like otherwise a blue district, to a guy like George Santos who had so much oppo research on him that the fact that every single person in the New York Democratic Party was not immediately fired or like thrown in jail for the malpractice that, in my opinion, constitutes extreme criminal levels of negligence, okay? If you're a staffer, if you are a staffer and you did not blast all of the George Santos lies leading up to the fucking election and just kind of drop the ball on that and then lost, you should straight up, you should just go to jail. You should go to jail. Skip go. Don't collect $200. Go to fucking jail. Okay? Yeah, Santos district isn't even slightly blue. You mean not is even slightly blue. Isn't even slightly blue. It's a blue district. It was a collaborative effort that the Democratic Party basically lost. The New York Democratic Party especially basically lost that district. Okay? A guy with that level of opposition research in a blue-ass fucking state, a Democratic stronghold, is not supposed to win. Okay? That's a ridiculous situation. It's insane. Anyway, so the fact that, I mean, no matter how bad Strong Island, Staten Island, no matter how fucking reactionary they get, no man with George Santos' background is supposed to win elections in a place like New York. No man with George Santos' background is supposed to even get through the Republican side. Okay? That's another way that that's another part of the part of the situation that I find rather odd, because like the Republicans, of course, vet their own candidates. They're supposed to vet their own candidates. The fact that even the Republican guys were like, even the Republicans actually let this one slip is wild. Okay? Is wild. Because his entire background is crazy. Anyway, so all of that stuff, I mean, this entire story is wonderful. Is we followed the George Santos story closely because I mean he's the GOAT. Yeah, New York Times didn't even pick it up. Empire Rob, pretty much. But then, all of this stuff comes to light after his dub. Okay? All of this stuff comes to light. Then Kevin McCarthy has a really unique problem. A very slim majority in the House of Representatives, and he wants to stay in power. So what does he do? He defends George Santos, hoping that it'll just go away. George Santos, on the other hand, is a ride or die con man. He's not like the type of person who's like, I'm poor, and that's why I need to steal this loaf of bread, or I need to steal this like designer bag so I can sell it so I can pay rent. George Santos is not doing crimes because he's desperate. He's doing crimes for the sake of doing crimes. He's doing it for the love of the game. So that's when you realize, like, oh, he's not going to stop, which he never did. And I told you guys this from the jump. If you go all the way back in time when the George Santos stuff was coming out, I told you a lot of the things that people yell at George Santos that we all joke about, that we all laugh about, are not necessarily crimes, like the whole reality, the lies that he told about how his parents died on 9/11. That was fake. How he was from Ukraine and also Jewish. That was also fake. All this stuff that I told you that his parents survived the Holocaust, also fake. None of that stuff will get you to lose your job. Okay? Lying about playing volleyball at the high school that he went to, which he didn't go to, lying about playing volleyball at the collegiate level, at the college that he went to that he didn't actually go to. All of this stuff is just padding your resume on steroids. But what I told you back then that he would actually land him in trouble is his campaign contributions, because that is a clear violation of the law. Okay? And he did that. He did the one thing you're not supposed to do in the United States of America. There's already so many amenities you get when you're running for Congress. There's already, it's open season to just like give unlimited funds to pretty much every politician by way of dark money PACs, super PACs. And he still was like, nope, YOLO. And here we are. The Republican Party finally, after the Ethics Committee investigation concluded, came to the conclusion themselves that he is now too much of a liability. Now, what I also find hilarious about this is that it turns out George Anthony DeValder Santos wasn't just stealing from homeless veterans. He wasn't just stealing from the American population. He wasn't just lying to his own voters. He apparently also allegedly stole from Republican congresspersons and their mothers. Like, please, dude, where's the clip? We got to roll the clip. I've never seen such a fucking insane. I don't even understand how he did this. Like, I saw this video yesterday and I was like, what are you saying? Does anyone have the video? Yeah, he's Robin Hood. Let me see if I can find it. Max Miller just sent this email to all the House Republicans, which he, by the way, also talked about on the floor of the House of Representatives. Max Miller did. Colleagues. All right. Oh, here it is. Let's watch this video and then we'll talk about the email. I promise you're not ready for this, okay? I promise you. You are not ready for what you are about to see. Here is Representative Max Miller, who had some things to say about George Santos.
Just very brief. I myself have been a victim of George Santos, and as well as other members of Congress, in terms of defrauding through public donations. I had received an ethics complaint from the FEC, which I had to spend tens of thousands to defend myself. You, sir, are a crook. I know I should direct my comments to the chair. I yield back.
Apparently, earlier this year, I learned the Santos campaign had charged my personal credit card and the personal card of my mother for contribution amounts that exceeded the FEC limits. Neither my mother nor I approved these charges or were aware of them. We have spent tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees in the resulting follow-up. I've seen a list of roughly 400 other people to whom the Santos campaign allegedly did this. I believe some other members of this conference might have had the same experience. While I understand and respect the position of those who will vote against the expulsion resolution, my personal experience related to the allegations and findings of the Ethics Committee compels me to vote for the resolution. Since I alluded to this on the floor yesterday and because of the significance of the question before us, I believe you're entitled to this further explanation for my position. How? He was swiping cards? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, the best part about this is, you're right, Zenso Lipsist. How much you want to bet? If he hadn't maxed it out and exceeded FEC limits, which is what, $2,700, I think? Which is why it's always funny whenever motherfuckers are like, Hassan, wow, the only political donations Hassan has ever made is to Bernie Sanders. And it's like, whatever, it's like $2,700. I forget what it is, or $3,300. Wow, that's a little amount of money. It's like, yeah, dumbass, more than that would be illegal, you fucking idiot. It's literally illegal. So stupid. Like, that used to be a fucking hater talking point where people would be like, wow, Hassan claims to care about political activism and he's only fucking giving Bernie Sanders amounts that don't exceed the FEC legal limit? Idiot. Anyway. In all seriousness, Santos would be immortalized an American folk hero via Broadway musical within 20 years. Yes. Every lie George Santos is told by New York Magazine, updated this morning at 11:24 a.m. This article has to be updated every day for you to keep up to date with George Santos's lies. Because every new day is another opportunity for him to tell a lie. And also, every new day is an opportunity for us to find out about a lie that he told that he got away with. It's fucking awesome. This article is homophobic. It is. It is homophobic. He should be able to do it. Now, we talked about Max Miller, right? Well, there's a follow-up to the Max Miller clip. Let's take a look at what George Santos had to say after that.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from New York, Mr. Santos is recognized.
I'd like to move to have the gentleman from Ohio's words stricken from the record, please.
Gentleman's request is not timely, but the chair will remind all members to direct their remarks to the chair and not to others.
Gentleman's request is not timely, but I would remind members to direct their remarks to the chair. Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker.
You ain't ready for this either. He is such a messy bitch.
Hypocrisy, as I mentioned. My colleague wants to come up here, call me a crook. Same colleague who's accused of being a woman beater. Are we really going to ignore the facts that we all have passed and we all have the media coming out against us on a daily basis?
Bro, he literally said, why is he bringing up the fact that I stole his and his mother's credit card and actually got them into legal trouble? Why is he bringing that up when he's a fucking accused wife beater? I love this. George Santos, you are a legend, okay? It's great. Keep revealing all the skeletons, okay? I am such a fan. Santos. Mr. Santos walked out of the chamber before the vote was finished, descending the House steps to a waiting car. Mr. Santos told reporters he was ready to turn the page on Congress. Why would I want to stay here, he said. The hell with this place. What, Mom? What's going on, Mom? Yeah? Door's unlocked. Mom, there's someone at the door too. I'm just talking to the... Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna call it. Okay? Okay. Santos like a corruption elemental. He's the corruption of our government given in its physical form. He's a legend. He's fucking awesome. Okay? And you need to respect it. She's hurt and injured. You need to help her. I know. I am. I'm working on it. Everybody calm down. Okay?
Immediately. So in the next 7 to 10 days, we will see the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, call for a special election. The special election would then have to happen in the next 70 to 80 days after it is called. But one thing that is important to note here, there is no guarantee that a Republican can hang on to that district. That is a district that President Biden won. It's a district that Congressman George Santos flipped as a Republican, and it will be very tough for Republicans to keep that seat, Terry.
So much at stake, the precedent and the politics. Rachel Scott in Congress, thanks very much. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com as well. And we'll have a complete wrap-up on world news tonight. I'm Terry Moran. Have a good day.
This has been a special...
Fuck yeah, dude. Here's Giorgio Antonio DeValder Santos saying he expects to be expelled from Congress. Which, of course, did end up happening.
All right, get this. Just 2 hours from now, House lawmakers are expected to hold a vote to expel New York Congressman George Santos. It comes following the release of a scathing ethics report that includes campaign finance abuse. Congressman George Santos joins us with an exclusive interview ahead of the critical vote. We'll decide if you're going to be packing up your office today. Congressman, how do you think this vote's going to go? If 290 vote for you to be expelled, you're gone.
Well, Brian, look, this is the prerogative of the members of this House, right? If they
Okay, the Botox is working, though. He does look snatched as a motherfucker. Excuse me. Like, you can't hate on him. You can't. Look at this. Look at his face. What happened?
choose to do so. I haven't whipped it. I haven't campaigned. I want people to vote their conscience, and I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. So if it's their choice to change precedent and loop me in with 3 Confederate turncoats who were expelled for treason and 2 convicted members who were convicted in a court of law, so I'll be the first person to get expelled from Congress without a conviction or without committing treason. And it sets dangerous new precedent for the future to come. It's the demise of this body eventually.
So, I mean, the things that they're saying you did, you deceived donors, providing what they thought were going to be contributions to your campaign, but were in fact payments for your personal use. You reported fictitious loans to political committees to induce donors to give you more money. Used connections to high-value donors and other political campaigns to obtain additional funds for yourself through fraudulent means. Use campaign funds for your own benefit. Did you know at the time how wrong this is?
Bro, oh my God, bro. The laundry list just keeps going and going and going. He is just, Brian Kill Me is like, hey, I will give you my last name right now, son. Your shit is
Brian,
fucked.
I haven't unpacked this, and I won't unpack this as out of respect to the process that I'm going with the DOJ. For me to go ahead and start talking about this, I go ahead and A, forego my rights. B, I undermine the process and the due process that the DOJ has afforded me. Unlike the Ethics Committee, they've been gentlemen about this. The prosecutors, the judge, everybody has been very gracious and above board. So for me to go out there and start talking about this and unpacking is exactly what my opponents would like me to do to incriminate myself, to hurt my chances on my criminal.
I've never seen a more guilty person on television in my entire life. I mean, he literally, dude, just say, I'm not going to talk about it right now because there's a case going on. That's it. He literally is just like, bro, he's like, well, you know, I've done really illegal things, like the most illegal things you ever thought about. I'm doing illegal things right now. And because I love doing crime, I don't want to talk about the crime that I'm doing and will continue to do forever. And so, yeah, that's why I won't be talking about all the crimes that I love doing. Because I'm currently under federal investigation. Would you agree to have George Santos on stream? Fuck yes, dude. Are you kidding me? I would love to. George Santos is literally winning the convo by having better eyebrows. I mean, that part is true. Those are not just like regular old eyebrows. Those are eyebrows that the American taxpayers and George Santos campaign contributors paid for. Some of which didn't even know they were paying for that. They didn't even know they were donating to the George Santos campaign, apparently.
Okay, so obviously I won't be answering any of those questions to you today, sir.
Right. 3 money laundering charges, 7 counts of wire fraud, 23 criminal charges overall. So they had a couple of votes. They did not work. This one might be different. Historically, there's only 5 members of Congress who have been expelled. What would it mean to you to be the 6th? How do you process that?
I mean, it's really, it hasn't sunken in.
Say it's homophobic.
But it's really a tough thing to digest. I mean, especially when
it's homophobic, it's Latinx phobic. Okay? It's anti-Semitic. It's anti-Ukrainian. It's anti-victims of 9/11 and their family members. I am all of those things, and I stand before you, a man who himself was a part. You know what? I've decided I was also a 9/11 survivor in some ways. Yeah. You are behaving in very anti-Semitic ways by coming after a 9/11 survivor who also is Jewish, whose grandparents actually survived the Holocaust and were Ukrainian as well, simultaneously. It's true. That's what's happening here, and he should say it.
I've come here, all of the work I've done in this body has been above board. Nobody can actually question my ethics and my conduct in Congress, unlike...
Wait, what do you mean? They quite literally can, and they quite literally did. That's exactly what the Ethics Committee did. Question your ethics and found out that you are deeply unethical. God, he's so delusional. I love him. I love him so much.
Some of my colleagues who are on drunken tirades going after their former staff, but I'm the one being pinned for all of this nonsense. And here I am, like about to join a long history of due process of people who committed atrocities. Meanwhile, I have been only accused. This is, I have a scheduled I have a scheduled court appearance for September 9th next year to start a trial. That's what's on the books right now. But these guys want an expedient, conclusive decision now. They don't care what the facts are, so much so that they put in the report that I was exonerated from sexual harassment, but then Michael Guest, as an author, put it in his expulsion resolution. It's contradictory to his own committee's work. His committee didn't suggest expulsion, but here he is, writing this on with the Long Island Republicans in New York. And look, that's just hypocrisy at its finest.
So yesterday, you went ahead and fired an ethics violation to Jamal.
Trump needs to make George Santos his vice president. I've decided. Many people have talked about like who is going to be the VP. You got it. We know. He's right there, man. He's right there. And he should be doing that, not for like any reason. Like, and there's no George Santos constituency other than obviously messy gays, which, not exactly a big coalition there, but it's like the entirety of the, what's the podcast? Fuck. The not even Red Scare. No. Not Fear End. Well, Fear End for sure. No, Seeking Derangements. Thank you, Arcanic G. That's the entirety of the Seeking Derangements podcast, the entire fan base of the Fear End podcast. That's pretty much it. It's like we are the George Santos constituency. However, Trump needs to do that specifically for the love of the game. He needs to do it because he absolutely loves people who do cons like this.
Bowman for pulling the fire alarm. And you said, Bowman said this in his statement: no one in Congress or anywhere else in America takes soon-to-be former Congressman George Santos seriously. This is just another meaningless stunt in his long history of cons, antics, and outright fraud. Your reaction?
Well, the reaction is he's a criminal. He admitted to it in court. He obstructed a federal proceeding. And
that's so funny. Like, Jamal Bowman pulling the fire alarm is the worst thing that anyone could have ever done. I say, as I stand before a federal investigation for like 100 different crimes. It's like screeching about a fucking jaywalking ticket, dude. It's fucking awesome. Please do not pay attention to my current crimes. You sound homophobic. True. What's up with your mic? I'm just like cleaning it up a little bit. There's a lot of dirt that is picked up over the years in the little nooks and crannies. So I just want to try and, there's gamer gunk. You know what it is? It's not even anything. It's just dust for the most part.
look, everybody in America knows, had he been a Republican or a member of the general public, he would have been indicted on a felony charge of obstructing an official proceeding, much like the J6ers in Washington, D.C. today.
So I know Matt.
I love that this is what Jamal Bowman did is just like the January 6ers, except the January 6ers shouldn't go to jail and Jamal Bowman should go to jail. What Jamal Bowman did is very similar to what the January 6ers did, okay? And if not worse, but also he should go to jail and we should take out the January 6ers from jail.
Gates says he's not.
And also, the January 6th was good. It was good and valid and great.
To vote to expel you, Steve Scalise, Jim Jordan, Lauren Boebert will not vote to expel you. It probably won't be enough. Do you think you're going to get expelled today?
Well, look, I don't know. I've accepted the fate. Look, I believe that if it's God's will to keep me here, I will stay. And if it is his will for me to leave, I will leave, and I will do so graciously.
George, as they roll through all the things you said and everything about working at Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, being Jewish, have you been doing this?
Yes, he hit him with the being Jewish. Come on, dog. That shit's crazy. It's perfect, dude.
Oh. This your whole life, just embellishing and making things up. Is this the first time you've been forced to pay for this?
Brian, look, I can go.
Dude, Kill Me's actually doing a great interview for once. I mean, dude, it's impossible. It's impossible to look at George Anthony DeValder Santos, and like try to find something that's defensible. The fact that he was able to get away with it for this long due to like, internal affairs within the Republican Party is a testament to how fundamentally broken the Republican Party is. I mean, he was a liability from the jump. Like anyone could have fucking made that call. He was a massive liability, which we're going to get into in a second, by the way, when we talk about the Jaubrey video the fraud who fooled America, the lies of George Jebediah Santos.
And rehash everything that I've said, but it's been so wildly documented on all of the questions you just asked, and to the short.
He ran unopposed. No, that doesn't matter. What do you mean? You think the Republican Party doesn't vet its own fucking members? That's crazy. Like, not having... First of all, that's not even true. He ran and lost time and time again. He ran and lost twice, I believe, in the New York area. So the idea that you think that the RNC is just going to dump funds into you without, like, doing their due diligence is crazy.
Short answer is, would I have not said certain things? Would I have done things differently? Absolutely. I'm an adult and I'm mature enough to acknowledge that. But to think that I've built my entire life based on what the media is trying to package over the last couple of months is not fair. It is not true, and it is dishonest. So I have a life. I have people around me who've been in my life my entire life who are appalled at what the media has been doing. So I think that should tell you enough of who I am and my character.
You don't think you brought this on yourself?
Oh, look, in some way, I think we all bring stuff on ourselves, right? I just acknowledge I bear responsibility, but what has been made out of mistakes that I've made in the past that I've admitted to on national television, on this network with Tulsi Gabbard last December, I dare most members of Congress have the same courage to come on here and tell the entire American public on national television exactly what I did and own up to their shortcomings and be humble and have the humility to do so.
All right, and just a final thought is, you expect to be expelled today?
Look, like I said, I don't expect, but I do believe they have the votes. Congressman Lilota said he had 150. He walked it back to 120. Look, 150, 120, the difference is they need about 77 Republicans. If that's the numbers they're dwelling with, I think they have it.
Well, you're my congressman. There's going to be a special election if you're expelled today, and then we'll see. And then we got another election in November.
I hope you have a shot at a conservative, Brian, because you won't know what a conservative looks like on Long Island once I'm gone.
Right, although the Long Island is pretty red. Congressman, thanks so much, and Peter King did have that seat for a long time. Congressman Santos, for now, best of luck.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe.
For now, best of luck. What a great way to send him off.
Republicans from New York are ready to unseat scandal-ridden Congressman George Santos.
The representative is being accused.
What the fuck? Where did this caption just pop up out of? This is like crazy. Anyway, we're watching the Jobbery video.
Use of identity theft.
Wire fraud, false statements, falsification of records.
Scamming a disabled veteran out of money he was raising for his sick dog.
Now denying reports that he once performed as a drag queen in Brazil.
I never claimed to be Jewish. I said I was Jew-ish.
Claiming, for instance, he had a role in Hannah Montana.
I'm just struck, not necessarily that a politician would lie, but that you would think no one would find out.
Well, I ran in 2020 for the same exact seat, and I got away with it then.
That photo, by the way, is the greatest snapshot of all time. Like, that is, it goes so fucking hard. It will be remembered for generations. It's one of the hardest going photos out there. Nothing goes as hard, okay? Straight fucking diva shit. So clean, so nice with it. Botox looking perfect. His beats looking snatched, whatever fucking people say, okay? He beat it up. He's slaying. He's the slay queen. He's serving mama. Slay mama. God, he's great.
There's an old saying I find hard to disagree with. Politics is just show business for ugly people.
No, get those lights off! Off!
Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police.
They're too bright. Turn them off! Freedom! Turn off the lights! Turn off the lights!
Through a cynical lens, American politics can be seen as a deranged spectacle for the entire world to laugh at.
The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
Wait. I call upon all nations to stop these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
A never-ending source of
Jobber just popped off with like some of my favorite moments of all time, including my least favorite moment of all time, where we found out that George W. Bush actually has really good fucking reflexes.
Entertainment that favors vapid theatrics over any actual substance.
How many AR-15s do you think Jesus would have had? Well, he didn't have enough to keep his government from killing him.
What do you say in response to the Pope?
I'd say ISIS wants to get you.
But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't funny. If our country's going to hell, we might as well enjoy the ride there.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
But I don't think there's a single politician today who epitomizes our government's absurdity quite like George Anthony DeValder Santos.
Is it true that you have an OnlyFans page and you can peel a banana with your feet?
I just discovered what OnlyFans was about 3 weeks ago.
That was a lie.
I was oblivious to the whole concept.
You just can't tell the truth. All right, so
you may have heard his name before or seen his picture on the news, and what?
Wait, I didn't catch that part. I didn't know she said that.
Would be, tell the truth. All right, so
the whole concept.
You just can't tell the truth. All right, so.
Oh my God. Isn't that the VJ, by the way? That literally, God, American politics is so fucking stupid. It's such a dumb fucking. Oh, it's a clown show.
So
you may have heard his name before.
Gagged him.
Or seen his picture on the news, and well, that would be because George has become one of the most polarizing individuals in all of Congress, but that's not for any traditional reason. He was elected on a number of false pretenses.
Where's the TOS?
And I know your response to that may be, doesn't every politician lie, though? To which
149, we passed it. 212, sex toy. We passed both of those.
I would say
TOSs.
yes, but also you've never heard of George Santos. This guy's entire existence is made up. He's lived about 1 million different lives, and as a result, has put himself in the crosshairs of the FBI, the FEC, the GOP, the Brazilian government, the House Ethics Committee, and the nearly 1 million constituents who make up his district, just to name a few. I mean, he's facing 23 federal charges as we speak, and there's no guarantee he won't be charged with even more after this video comes out. Because when we look into his actual biography, we discover a man who has scammed, thieved, and manipulated his way to the top in a manner so unbelievable, he's had to escape entire countries. I mean, we're talking about an entirely different brand of criminal. He's like a Looney Tune, a Grinch-like figure, as some have suggested.
George Santos just left Tim Burchett's office with a baby in his arms. When asked if it was his baby, he said, "Not yet."
But before we get to anything he did, it's important to establish somewhat of a base understanding of where the man comes from, which I'm gonna attempt to lay out as best I can, but keep in mind, this guy has lied about literally so many elements of his life that it's actually hard to get a straightforward timeline of events. So if anything here feels a bit disjointed, it's because George himself is a very disjointed and confusing person, okay? Not my fault. This is a guy who baselessly claimed his niece was kidnapped by Chinese communists, that he survived multiple assassination attempts, and that he's run a real estate empire on top of meeting Jeffrey Epstein. He's also lied about where he went to school, where he worked, where he got his money, that he was in.
Every group's got that one guy, dude. Every group has to have, first of all, every gay person knows a guy like this, okay? But every group needs to have just a lying guy in general. Doubly fun if they're also a messy gay on top of that. Okay? It's just like, I mean, I've talked about this before, like, when I was in college, there was this dude in our group of friends who would do these, like, unimaginable things, these incredibly impressive things. And after a while, we realized, like, oh, he's just lying, right? He had this like one-up disease. You'd say something like, oh, I went on a jet skiing trip and it was awesome. And he'd have to follow you up with a story that he completely made up and be like, oh yeah, well, I went on a snowmobile and did a flip. And after a while, we started having a little game where we would just like start a story. We'd start a story specifically knowing full well that he's going to fucking, raise the stakes. There's different kinds of liars. You're saying it's giving LeBron. LeBron is like a white lie type of guy. You know what I mean? He's like I would classify LeBron as a guy who lies about things he doesn't need to at all, but it doesn't even benefit him in any way, and often is doing it for the other person, like for the sake of the other person, like, oh yeah, I love watching your movies, that type of thing. And like, it's a situation that you could totally avoid if you were to say, well, I haven't watched that movie, I'm really sorry, right? But LeBron is the type of guy who goes, yeah, I love that movie, it's my favorite movie of all time, to the guy who made the movie. You know what I mean? And there's no reason for him to do that. Oh, that's my favorite quote. I've actually never heard another quote that I like as much as my favorite quote, that is the quote that you just mentioned. And it's like, why did you say that? There is no reason for you to have said that. Okay? Whereas the type of dude that I'm talking about is like pathological and can't stop himself. He can't stop himself, and there's a purpose for it. Hassan talks a lot without saying anything. Well, one, I'm a Twitch streamer, so yes, you're right about that. But two, I think what I'm talking about right now is you know, fairly personable if you have ever had friends. Or even if you've like watched anime. Every crew needs a Usopp. There you go. Usopp is a great example. So like, these are the types of dudes who just like lie about regular, banal, nonsensical bullshit things. But then George Santos takes it one step further. He's the guy who lies for gain. But I think I would categorize him as like pathological in the maximum degree, where he both lies for personal gain, as he has done time and time again, but he also lies when there's no reason to. Okay? He just lies for the love of the game, just to tell a good lie. Which is why he's the best. Okay? This is an incredible conversation.
An
to have.
actor on Disney Channel into one of my favorites, that he produced a Spider-Man musical on Broadway, which is especially bizarre to me because that specific musical he wrongly said he worked on was a commercial failure that lost millions of dollars, and even
that's what I mean. Like, when you lie, not for personal gain, but you lie in a way that like serves you L's. You know what I mean? That's when you know someone is absolutely just lying for the fun of it, for the sake of being able to tell a lie. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst thing you can think of? What's the worst movie? What's the worst song you can think of that is just like universally panned by critics? George Santos goes, I played a role in making that. For no reason. For no fucking reason. It's like, well, why did you say that? It just like kind of shows you to be a loser.
Resulted in the injury of several cast members. Why you would want to tie your name to that, I just don't get. Half the time, there's nothing to be gained from these lies at all. In a 2022 congressional debate, he actually stole his opponent's answer to the question, what's your favorite holiday tradition?
Oh, this was awesome.
In front of him.
So, Mr. Zimmerman, name one of your favorite family traditions.
New Year's Eve, I hope my nephews and I, my brother and sister-in-law, and I get together in our sweats, watch a stupid holiday movie, some sort of stupid comical holiday movie, and eat the food that we shouldn't eat all year round. Haagen-Dazs is always a staple.
Mr. Santos, your favorite family tradition?
Our favorite family tradition is just family time. It doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday night or if it's a Sunday night or if it's Christmas. It's sweatpants, pints of Haagen-Dazs all over the place.
He literally copied bro's own family tradition right down to the
Yeah, he to his face. To his face. I love that. Like, that's so disrespectful. That's so ridiculous. To his fucking face. He's just sitting right there. I love that.
Cream. This man's a fucking menace. But where does it all begin, right? Well, even that's the subject of debate. As the story goes, George...
Damn, this guy's good.